is NFL Daily Mailbag time as we're talking trade rumors today. Before we do, though, shout out your favorite NFL player. Somebody to choose from. Who's your personal favorite? Let us know. We'll get started on today's show. Our first question in the mailbag from Bill's Gotta Go. What are the chances the Titans trade Ryan Tannehill? What about the Patriots? Bill's Gotta Go with a very fascinating question. Tannehill in New England. Start out with the first half of that question. I think the chances are much better that the Titans trade Ryan Tannehill than they were a few weeks ago. The Titans are, I think, going to lose to the Baltimore Ravens this week. And we will start to see their season spiral downhill. They want to see what they have in Will Levis. Maybe they even potentially want to play Malik Willis if they need to. But Ryan Tannehill is not a part of their future plans. And if they can get something out of him while they can, I think they might actually make a trade. I've still put it about a 35 to 40% chance that they make a trade. As far as New England goes, I don't think that's likely. I think the most likely scenario is that the Patriots go with Mac Jones, and then if he gets benched, then they go with Zappia for a bit, and then from there, who knows? It's Will Greer. If they go sign a guy, I don't see the Patriots in their position building for the future and the rebuild starting next year of wanting to give up draft capital and draft assets for a veteran, older quarterback that's past his prime at this point in time. But you never know. We'll see. I can't underestimate what Bill is going to do next. Where will Ryan Tannehill finish the season? Is he back in Tennessee still, or is he elsewhere? This is our pinned comment today. Weigh in and tell us where you think Ryan Tannehill is going to end up. _Steve writes in, what do you think the Giants pick and who? Referring to the Giants and their one-win start to the season, things have not been pretty in New York these days. And I got to tell you, _Steve, thanks for the super chat. I would say that the Giants, I don't know if they're going to be picking number 1 overall or number 5 overall, but I have a pretty good suspicion it's going to be a top 5 pick. And as far as who they pick, I don't know that either, but it will be a quarterback. I think it kind of depends on how the board goes. If they're at 1, then you take Caleb Williams. If you're at 3, then you take Drake May. If you're at 5, then you go with Shedeur Sanders, or you go with, let's say, a guy like Michael Penix Jr., maybe it's even a Quinn Ewers, potentially. Depends on how the board shakes out at that point. The first 2 quarterbacks that will be taken, no matter what the teams are Caleb Williams and Drake May. And then everything else is up in the air at that point. _Steve, that's what I look at for the Giants. Thanks for the super chat. It will be a quarterback. It will be in the top 5. Laura writes in, should the 49ers trade for anyone in a trade? 49ers look really good. You bring in Randy Gregory. You've already traded off Trey Lance. And we've seen Shanahan and Lynch be some of the most proactive when it comes to making moves across the NFL over the last couple of years. I don't know what more they need or what they could add at this point because they look like a complete football team with the best roster from 1 to 53. So maybe they have something in mind, but they don't need to make a trade, but they very well could if they want to add some extra to it. What they do say is you can never have enough pass rushers. That's for certain. That's why they brought in Randy Gregory. Maybe they find another pass rusher or something. Jim Evan writes in, if Minnesota be able to waive Kirk Cousins, no trade clause, trade him to the Jets, here's my package. Vikings trade Cousins and a 4th-round pick for Zach Wilson and Michael Carter and Breece Hall. Huh? Why would anyone want Zach Wilson? No one's making any trades for Zach Wilson. Why would the Jets give up Breece Hall either? That one doesn't add up to me. Like, I know the Jets are trying to salvage this season. You don't give up Breece Hall when you're trying to compete. That trade doesn't make any sense. GM Evan, I hate to break it to you, but you're fired as the GM here in this case. No offense. No one's taking that trade. Kirk Cousins, we've talked about the idea of him going to the Jets potentially, but the other stuff, that doesn't work, Evan. Sorry to break it to you, man. Today's show is sponsored by Odds Are. Odds Are, one of our newest partners here at Chat Sports. And let's make one thing clear. Odds Are is not a betting app, but it's AI technology recommends the bets you should be making. Because let's face it, luck is not strategy. We don't take your bets. We make you better at betting. Here's how it works. You download Odds Are by going to oddsr.com/NFL Daily for a 30-day free trial. And it has the list of all the NFL games going on this weekend. You can also bet on some playoff baseball and check out all the other stuff that they have going on. And you look for the green values. Those are the bets they recommend you should be making. Red means the ones you should stay away from. So, for all our viewers here on today's show, go to oddsr.com/NFL Daily. Download Odds Are now. Terms and conditions do apply. Start that 30-day free trial now. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Bossman 10 writes, could we see Mike Evans get traded at the deadline? So Mike Evans was a name that had been talked about with teams looking for receivers like the New England Patriots, the New York Football Giants, the Buffalo Bills. The list goes on of teams that would have been interested in Mike Evans. But the Buccaneers are better than all of us had anticipated. I was higher on the Bucs than most people, but I didn't think they'd be sitting here right now with just one loss on the season, a 3-1 record. To Baker Mayfield's credit, he's looked fantastic. He's played very well. That offense is cooking. Their only loss is to a very good Philadelphia Eagles team. And not to mention, Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, despite some rumblings in the offseason, are on the same page. They're playing well together. So with that said, I don't know what the future holds for Mike Evans as far as getting a long-term contract and staying with the Buccaneers in the future. But for now, the Bucs are not going to trade Mike Evans. They will hold on to him because they are going all in on right now. They're in a very winnable division. I don't see him leaving. What are the chances Mike Evans gets traded? Scale it for me 1 through 10 in the comments section. How likely is that scenario from happening? Weigh in. Tell us what you think. Hey, Adrian. You like that? Says, do you think it makes any sense for the Texans to trade for Jerry Jeudy? I think that makes a lot of sense for the Texans and a number of teams to be in the market for Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy, I think, has incredible value. You're looking at a guy that you could trade for with a second or third round pick. The Texans need receiver help. The Texans are on the way up. D'Amico Ryans doing a great job. That team's got a lot of optimism right now. I don't think they're necessarily a playoff team, but they're ascending forward. Jerry Jeudy could be a good fit, and they have the money to pay him long-term to get him a new deal. Christopher Bryson says, do the Seahawks make a move by the trade deadline? History tells us no. History says the Seahawks don't like to make trades, period. Since March of last year, they've made a total of 2 trades. One was Russell Wilson. The other was bringing in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who they cut about a week or 2 later. History tells us no. A lot of people are talking about the idea of Frank Clark or Chase Young or another pass rusher. I think the Seahawks should make a move and go bring in another pass rusher. But I'm not anticipating that it happens at this point, Christopher. Stay locked in to NFL Daily for more news and rumors all season long as we're trying to reach our next milestone, 344,000 subs on the channel. Less than 900 away from reaching that point. Subscribe now for free and help us get there for more NFL content right here at NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Got time for a couple more questions here. Andrew says, can the Eagles trade Derek Barnett and a second-round pick for Brian Burns? I think not. Brian Burns, the asking price is going to be very high. Remember, folks, let's go back to last year. Granted, it was different management, different coaching staff, but the Panthers turned down not 1, but 2 first-round picks from the Los Angeles Rams for Brian Burns. That's not cheap. That's a lot of money. in a lot of draft capital. I don't think that Barnett in the second round is getting you Brian Burns. Carolina wants a first-round pick, and rightfully so. Can't blame them. Tyler Jones burner. They even got my avatar and everything. Pretty good burner. Hashtag NFL. Who would be a good fit for Tee Higgins to get traded to? The Patriots? Yes. 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 What's the Jim Carrey movie? Yes, man? Yes, yes, yes. Tee Higgins would be wonderful in New England and would immediately be their number one receiver and would be a huge impact player. He could change Mac Jones's life. He could change Bill Belichick's life, quite frankly. But like all nice things in the world, it ain't going to be cheap. You're probably looking at a first-round pick and then maybe a third or a fourth as well. Are the Patriots willing to do that? Here's one thing. I'll say this, and then we'll wrap up real quick. Okay, let's say Belichick has this idea. Says, hey, I want to do this. I want to make this trade first, third, fourth, whatever, and make this trade happen. Does Robert Kraft step in and say, look, Bill, I'm not going to let you give up my draft capital when you're not going to be here? How does that dynamic potentially work? Something to think about. But Tee Higgins does make a lot of sense for New England. Should the Bengals trade Tee Higgins? They probably can't afford to keep him with the other guys they're paying anyway. What do you think? Y for yes, N for no. Get in that comment section and let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time here on the channel.